So I think that we could all agree here that 2023 was the absolute worst year for the Walt Disney Company for multiple factors. We already know that a lot of it had to do with the fact that it so happened to land on Disney's 100th year anniversary. Another major call, of course, had a lot to do with the fact that we had people out there and different studios like South Park Studios, by the way, individuals like Elon Musk and other studios like the Daily Wire really taking a lot of shots at Bob Iger, at Disney, and their overall DEI agenda getting exposed, and how 2024, it only got a lot worse so far in the first quarter, and what really actually happened with Bob Iger's cost containment plan in various phases, and we have a lot to discuss on what's going on with all the divisions over at the Disney Company. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing that I think we can all really agree on as well with Bob Iger is the fact that he is single-handedly the worst Disney CEO of all time. Alright, I think that he definitely topples Bob Chapek without a doubt, and I have no hesitation in saying that for all the things that he said and lied about, such as quieting down the noise, about the agenda, and then just flip-flopping all of that to kind of string along the shareholders and the customers into the following year. Rinse and repeat. It's an ongoing vicious cycle for Bob Iger. However, when it comes to his cost-cutting measures, this is where things get even more severe for the Walt Disney Company throughout 2024, 25, and yes, even what looms for 2026. Let's get into this, shall we? Now, with Bob Iger and the board heading into multiple emergency meetings for the month of May and June regarding all of the divisions at the company, one major development now has much to do with Bob Iger's third phase of his cost containment plan that just went active behind the scenes that is already impacting Disney employees across the board, across all divisions at the company, prematurely, including the corporate ladder, that are lined up to get fired/laid off. Now, one shocking turn of events now is that the decision was made recently after an 80-20 decision was actually made between the board of directors that took a whole whopping 5 months of negotiations to finalize, where the thousands of employees that are set to be fired from the film's productions, television, marketing teams, the theme parks, and more all together are set to go into full effect by the end of the summer now for the Walt Disney Company to reduce spending. Now, this, of course, logic behind Bob Iger, according to, of course, Iger, after this was presented in a recent emergency meeting with the board that rattled throughout the company, is that smaller productions will now be the focus for all films moving forward, requiring less cast and crew members on the set and visual artists as well, as they aim to reduce funds and spending on anything dedicated to CGI use in film and television. However, it doesn't stop there. To make matters even worse for Disney's sake, is that their marketing teams for all things Star Wars, Marvel, and the Disney live-action remakes are also getting shaved down drastically. The three divisions that are set to get hit the worst with these firings, however, are Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Pixar, that are set to go through most of the firings over the next 4 months, as Bob Iger and the board aim to also hire less actors and actresses that hold stardom power that will be connected to smaller scale productions. Now, several, of course, sound stages and studios used for the Walt Disney Company for all of those productions will also be shutting down for various reasons, as they aim to obtain cheaper alternatives to how films can be shot faster and cheaper for both the 2025 and 2026 years, before Bob Iger plans to step down as CEO, as the board is getting ready to create a roster of the next Disney CEO for that year. However, 20% of the board members that disagree with Iger's approach are reportedly desperately attempting to convince him to change his mind on this shift to no avail, as Bob Iger is 100% set on the decision, as they also look to spending, of course, less and saving, of course, everything related to the funds, to expand and investing more into other divisions and even a brand new division at the Disney Company that will be announced by next year. Now, Iger is already preparing to announce this further to both the shareholders and the customers that will likely result in a negative response that will only enhance Nelson Peltz with his return in 2025 2025 to make an attempt to actually obtain a board seat at the Walt Disney Company. And about that, guys, I don't know if you were informed about this, but Nelson Peltz unfortunately did not have a good 2024 year in his massive attempt to obtain a board seat, but he did say this, that he will be willing to return in 2025. In fact, he will return, he said, in 2025 if things do not change with Disney's DEI agenda and all of the nonsense that they are spewing and shoehorning into everything Star Wars, Marvel, etc., etc. So this is only going to make it, I think, easier for the shareholders to kind of lean toward Nelson Peltz and his side a little bit more. I think that at the end of the day, the financial situation over at Disney and all of the nonsense happening over there, even the latest, I don't know if you guys have seen this over the past couple of days, but their Disney stock has not been doing all that well, especially after that massive hit a couple of weeks ago, or should I say days ago, technically at this point. But what's interesting, though, is to, of course, further go down the rabbit hole related to Disney, is that this is only going to create a domino effect. Everything related to the thousands of firings planned that will go into full effect by the end of the summer. You can expect it around September, because that technically still falls in the summer there over at Disney. However, in addition to this, Bob and the board are set to also fire hundreds in the corporate ladder at Disney that will include certain executives and even Disney spokespeople that help with the PR for various films and television programs. Funds are also now officially receiving a 40% cut for all productions in 2025 and 26 related to Marvel and Star Wars that will also impact the marketing campaigns of the films and shows set to debut in those years. Now look, 2025 is going to be full of expensive failures. I know I've said this many times before, but Snow White and Captain America 4 are going to be the two big expensive failures for the beginning of that year for many different reasons. It has gone through endless reshoots, alterations, revisions, whatever have you. Marketing campaigns for those overall productions are also getting shaved down, which means less exposure to audience members, hence less turnout. You can have less people, of course, tuning into those movies. And I think at the end of the day, when you have a lot of, scenarios happening now by Bob Iger, he continues to lie, he continues to keep on saying that he is willing to quieting down the noise when he is not, that he's also, of course, holding no concern in both the short and long term about where the Walt Disney Company is going. It really just goes to show you how out of touch with the reality this man really is, or he is 100% deliberately lying, which I do believe is the more likely case in this scenario, is that he just wants to keep lying to the shareholders, to the customers, to keep stringing them along into the following year, rinse and repeat, like I said before in this video. So overall, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.